Good afternoon. Welcome everyone to our first Zoom meeting for the North Central Hollywood Civic Association. Normally we would have a flag and we would talk to each other, but here we are in what Karen calls Hollywood Squares. We don't have our NTL on here, or Josh, he said he was gonna be here, and we don't have a code, right, Gio?
No, I don't believe we have. We do have the presentation from Commissioner Clary, and we have actually two presentations from Commissioner Clary.
Well, I think I'll get started a little bit and then I'll let Tracy run on it because I've asked her to follow up on several things that are going on in the neighborhood. Y'all know what's going on at 26th Avenue, right? Yes. That project, the Mancon, he's a very, very, very excellent contractor. He is very available when anybody has questions, and they're doing it in phases. So they started at Sheridan Street and they'll work their way south. So not the whole street's going to be closed at one time. And they are very receptive to anybody's questions. They were one of the first ones on south side putting in water mains, but this is 59,000 linear feet of new water pipes, 1,300 linear feet of drainage pipes, and 3,200 linear feet of exfiltration trenches. I'm not sure what that is, but it sounds like it's more drainage on. Do you know anything about those trenches, Tracy?
Just for the water, to get
Okay.
it off the main
And if
perimeter.
anybody drives by Sunset Golf Course, that's the material you see on that property. It has nothing to do with Sunset. It's just for a place for him to store his equipment under lock and key, and it makes it very convenient for him to not have to travel far to get to his equipment. So, and I'll touch a little bit more on the armory. They just, if awarded, and they'll get a special category grant for renovation of the building. And if awarded, they'd get $500,000, and then they get a matching grant with our GOB money. This is will be optimal sports facility in others, because the armory is got great bones. I mean, it's just, and it's right there. There could be so many different children to enjoy different types of sports. They'll have soccer. They'll be able to practice their soccer drills. Drilling soccer seems like harder than playing the game, you know. So we're very lucky we have that on the bill that we were getting, and we did write to the grant writer to ask, you know, to make sure we're on that one. And Karen, is she here? Karen,
Yep.
we talked about the master plan. You want to touch on, see if anybody wants to go with that? You're muted. I
Yeah,
want to welcome Commissioner Linda Anderson.
okay. Back in 1997, the 1 year before our civic association was incorporated, 30 members of our community came together and formulated a master plan for a vision for North Central Hollywood, submitted it to the city. City accepted it. There's a resolution accepting it, even funding it somewhat, a little bit of funding. I don't know if that was necessary for the acceptance of it, but we do have a master plan. And when the city is required to update the master plan, they come to us and they ask us for to update ours so they can include our update master plan in the city's master plan. And we really haven't done that because I think it was what, 2, 3 years ago, we updated the master plan. And when we looked at ours was, it seemed like the same problems we had 25 years ago, we still have. Well, I think we're always going to have them. I think we're always going to have to work toward a better, there it is. There's our, there it is. Thank you, Gio. And our neighborhood's recognized by the city. We are not without a relationship with the city. And what we need to do now is we need for all of the members of our association to go through this master plan, not any deadline, not any rush, but go through it and see what was important 25 years ago. Try to come up with ideas where we can improve it somewhat. Look at the names. There we go. The next page. Up one. Go ahead, Gio. Look at these names. Lou Arajama is still in the neighborhood. He still comes to our meetings from time to time. The last one, Sherry Wolf, she comes to, well, when we were having in-person meetings, we were still getting, Ellen Mata is at the bottom of that, but this is 1997. And the most interesting thing to me is when you look at the project staff, the first person there is George Keller. You see?
Mhm.
George Keller came back to us, what, 4 years ago, Tracy?
Yep.
Well, I hired him back 4 years ago. He,
I think it's a little longer, but yeah.
yeah, but it's interesting how we continued, there's history and there's continuity, and it's really important that we get back to our grassroots. These documents are available now because Gio has taken them and put them in a format where we can all access them. A lot of it's obsolete, a lot of it doesn't happen anymore, but what we need to do is we need to get our mojo back somehow.
Yep.
And to start becoming more proactive. We know what our problems are. We see them every day. We need to get them into a structured document and some solutions or some ideas. And I think right now we have, I think, 40 active members in our civic association. And among 40 people, certainly we can come up with some ideas. So what we're going to do is we're going to reach out maybe over the next few meetings and get this going so that even though the city hasn't asked us for it, and they won't ask us again until they get ready to do the citywide revision. I think it's every 7 years, I'm not sure. But we should be ready to step in and step up and say, look, this is what we want. This is what we think we should have. This is what we need. So that's it for that. That's it for the master plan. We do have one. It's old, but it's pretty extensive. It's pretty interesting too. Okay, Patty.
Thank you very much, Karen.
Patty, just quick, just if we could share that link somehow, so people, right now it's set up, we created this folder for the North Central group, us, where we could just go in there and look at the different documents that pertain to us, to our neighborhood. So far, we've only got a couple, including Commissioner Kalari's thing, but anybody could go in there. It's open access. The only thing is you can't edit it or you can't change it. You can view it. You can view any of these documents anytime. I think maybe Karen or Patty.
This is the public participation ordinance, which was just passed in 2020. The underlined portion is where the city codified us into the process.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. So we're going to create this folder here. It's a Google Drive. It's accessible to anybody. Anytime there's a document that we want to share with the neighborhood or anything, we're going to go ahead and put it up here. And And again, anybody who's got a link can access any of these documents at any time and view. And the only thing, you don't have access to go in there and delete it or change it. So
Thank you, Gio.
And how do we get the link, Theo? How do we get the link?
well, I think it's the easiest way, Patty, if you have like an email.
That
I
was
don't ha-
Karen
I-
Albertson that asked.
Yeah, yeah. I don't have everybody's email address, but we could either post it on our Facebook page that's that's out there, or we could email it the same way as we we got the word
Gio,
out for this meeting. It's up to you guys, however you
I
want
have
to do it.
no problem giving you the email list. I think that all of our members should have each other's email so that we can
Exactly.
be in a community. So I'm going to do that as soon as this meeting's over, or tomorrow. I will give it to you in Word.
That'd be great.
So
That'd be
you can
great.
kind of paste it over to wherever you want to do it. I think that's important that we all can contact each other if we feel the need to.
You
That's
should
great.
also post it on the Facebook page as
Yeah.
well, just in case.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And Tracy, were you able to contact FDOT about I-95 today?
Yep. Yes, I have it all ready for you, babe.
So then I'm going to turn this over to Tracy Kalari, Commissioner for District 3. Anybody that's a little bit familiar, they changed a little bit of the district in our neighborhood. District 3 is now a little bit expanded into District 2, which is Commissioner Anderson's district. If you live between Johnson Street and Taft, east of 24th to Dixie Highway, you are now in District 3.
Patty, I have a map of it. I brought it up too, if you want to pull up the PowerPoint. show.
Oh,
Oh,
On
great.
perfect.
too. Yep. Look at, I put this all together for you. So
Okey-dokey.
there
Oh,
it is.
yes. See, so if you need to re-register your vote, the Broward SOE, you can do everything online to make sure, because District 3 it's up for election this November. So anybody that's between Taft and Johnson, between 24th and Dixie, you are now in District 3.
Yep.
Are they gonna, okay, they're gonna automatically get the correct ballot?
I sure hope so. Supervisor elections hopefully will be on it.
Oh, that would make, yeah.
But
Oh,
I
yeah.
think it's really important if everybody just makes sure they're registered,
Yeah.
because we don't know if they're kicking people out for any reason. To me, the most important thing you can do is vote in your local elections.
Quick question, if possible.
Yes.
Yeah, where do I go to get a new voter's card? Because I've lost mine years ago and I just want to get one on hand.
Broward County Supervisor election, everything is online, David.
It's not in Hollywood here?
No,
Online.
everything's
You know
online.
what to do? Just Google Broward, SOE.org. And you can do just about anything. And I am sure if you're already a registered voter, you could probably print your own card.
Yeah.
Just Broward, SOE.org. You can register, you can ask for a
Mail-in ballot.
There are a dozen things that you can do online now with the supervisor of elections.
Can somebody text me that information? You got
Yes,
it?
I will.
Okay,
No
Thank-
problem, David.
or email it to me, either one.
I got it.
I'd like to have a screenshot of this. How do I do that? I don't know how to screenshot. I want to put it in
It's
my
on-
phone.
Tracy,
I'll
can you
send
send that?
everything to you. I'll send it. Everything's already on the same website, but we'll put it on the Facebook too. Because all this information is pretty important. So I can send that over to you, not a problem. Or you just go up to District 3, City of Hollywood's new boundaries, redistricting, it'll pop up.
Okay.
Yeah, I caught Joanne Hussey because the new map was not in the printed New Horizon.
Yeah, they put the old map in the new horizon.
Yeah, okay.
And I think that's about it. So I'm gonna let Tracy do her PowerPoint. I appreciate you
Okay.
very much.
Thank
She's
you.
got she gathered some great information for all of us on things that are very important to us.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and begin pretty much, Patty Antrican just went over all the boundaries, but if you go to move up, that's our new district. It looks like a medicine bottle. I can relate everything to medicine or healthcare. So if you look at that, go up to the next slide, please. And that just basically explains what Patty just mentioned with the new boundaries. Okay, so we'll go to the next slide. Just so everyone knows, if there's any newcomer the civic associations that are covered by Commissioner Clary and shared with Commissioner Anderson are Hollywood Hills it's just District 3. They meet on the third Wednesday at David Park at 7 p.m. Park East. It meets at the Hollywood Police Department on the third Thursday of the month at 7 p.m. And then shared is North Central with Commissioner Anderson. Thank you for being here, Commissioner Anderson. And we meet at Fred Littman on the fourth Tuesday of the month at 7 p.m. Next slide. So I was asked to provide you guys a little bit of breakdown of what's going on with Sunset Golf Course. So as you can see, this kind of just gives a little bit of history, but I neglected to leave the good work of what a civic association is and the dedicated individuals that are here on this phone call and some that aren't. But it goes back a little bit further. You know, for 10 years, we've been dealing with developers, crazy ideas of what to do with Sunset Golf Course. And all along, God rest in peace, Pete Brewer, dear friend of all of ours, you know, was adamant about nothing going in there because of the detriment that it would cause on the neighborhoods, being that it's a storm drainage area that absorbs all of the surrounding neighborhoods. And I spelled environment wrong, I think. Sorry for the type errors, but this goes back a little bit further. So prior to March 12th, and the GO bond was passed, Sunset was always on the market for grabs. It was not city owned, it was privately owned. And there was always an anticipation of somebody coming in and either building 650 homes, making it a paintball course, you name it, it was out there. So the residents, Karen, Patty, Cliff, Pete Brewer, I'm missing someone, I'm sure, really did their homework. There's a whole packet that was put together and they did their due diligence. And I helped support them through the years to make sure that nothing goes there. And here we are, FAU was a huge contributor. We demonstrated all the things that went into it. So we have that available. We can also get that available to anybody who wants to see it. So here now, fast forward, here we are, March 12th, GO bond passed. May 2020, the city of Hollywood made the decision, which we kind of got a little beating from some, but we knew it was the right decision to make, to purchase the 45 acres of Sunset Golf Course for $12 million. The $12 million was basically going to be used for the purchase along with improvements, but that didn't happen. So we bought the acreage just so that we had control, which I think was a very good move. Then May 2021, Chenmore and Associates was hired for the phase 1 of Sunset Master Plan. Prior though, I want to jump back. You'll see, Gio brought it up earlier, was the resolution that the city passed. And there's one specific, if you look through the 7 pages, it's 7D and it says, should the city acquire the property known as the former Sunset Golf Course pursuant to the approval of the city's GO bond, the city shall dedicate and utilize the property exclusively for publicly accessible nature preserve, wetlands, stormwater management area to assist the city in its resilience and water retention while providing trails, overlooks, passive recreation, and supportive amenities. So that's very specific to this. And, you know, there's on the next page, page 4, was what was on the bond that was approved. And basically it reiterates what we were pushing to do. So we'll go back to that original slide, if you don't mind, where we were on the PowerPoint. Gio's navigating this so well. Thank you so much. So as we move forward, October 2021, Chen Moore and Associates provided the city with an arsenic report for the site. And I just kind of want to give you a little bit more input on that. It says the arsenic will need to be removed or capped with 2 feet of clean fill, which also to cap arsenic can be used, you could use clean soil, concrete, or asphalt. So that's what they came up with. That's there to show you the time frame. In 2020, February 2020, Chen Moore and Associates met with FDOT and Stormwater Management Plan contractor to discuss the plans for the future. How do we address the stormwater? What are the needs? And how do we go about it properly? Then in March of 2022, during the whole COVID craziness, and here we are now, March of 2022, a couple of months ago, they provided a rough draft and a conceptual plan of the cost and estimated future development of this site. So I want to add a little bit to that. Here's what it says. FDOT has asked for a minimum of 8 acres of stormwater retention for the city and its stormwater master plan. Contractors, they stated that they could obviously use a lot more than that, but they're asking for 8 acres of the 45. And that's for FDOT overflow of flooding on 95. So when we move forward, it says Chen Moore prepared a conceptual plan, taking everything into consideration, most importantly, what we want for the future. And they stated it would cost about $10 million to remove the arsenic from the site, go in and pull it out. Or they give us the option where they can leave the arsenic on the site and cap it, which I explained earlier, with good soil. So 10 million to take it out, 5 million to cap it and put good soil on top. They provided an option to develop the plan in 2 phases. Phase 1 would contain earthwork, storm and water ponds, about 27 acres worth. Tri-rail system. There's question, and this is all going to come out to the public in discussion, but there's questions about with that water of 27 acres, do you put kayaks in there? It's passive, it's quiet, there's no motors. An entrance road into the site, miscellaneous elements such as fencing and landscaping on the perimeter and within the park, and they estimated that about $15 million. So that's phase 1. Once it gets approved by the community and all the investors. Phase 2 contains extras like, and this is all, I want to say, rough draft. So I want everyone to just rough draft. It's ideas, it's pie in the sky until we meet with the community. This is just Chen Moore's ideas. A community center, large area for parking along the perimeter of Johnson Street, questionable playground, which it's a passive park, so I'm not a fan of that, but it's up to the community, obviously. A maintenance area and other elements like lighting, site furnishing, and that would cost an additional $10 million to put all of that together so we have a finished product. So we're looking at anywhere from up to $25 million to do what we want in 2 phases. Then they basically, if you see the last part, they met with Chen Moore and Associates along with the city staff, met and had one-on-one meetings with each commissioner and the mayor to discuss the rough draft. Thank you, Patty, for putting that rough draft instead of that conceptual design that we've all been plagued with. And just kind of put it out there, letting us know these ideas, food for thought. And then of course, it will be tweaked and we'll go from there. But we're looking at, no matter what we put and how we organize it and what we do, we're looking at about $25 million cost overall, in addition to the 12 million we spent to buy the land. Staff feels, so here's staff's recommendation, and then we're gonna get the community's input, but staff feels that the approach would leave, thank you, that it would leave the arsenic on site, use the soil to help build berms around the water retention area, thus allowing more stormwater retention and saving money by not having to haul the contaminants off of the site. Cap the arsenic soil with good soil pathways, use a liner to storm in the stormwater retention site so that the water does not become contaminated. So, you know, every day we learn about new and inventive things that happen to make our environment better. And here's one of those ideas, is using a liner. So this is just where we're at. The next step is obviously staff will be going out to the Civic Association and doing the charades and getting input to come up with, you know, more improved, what we don't want, what we do want, and then collectively come up with a fluid moving forward to accommodate phase 1 and phase 2 and be able to get what everyone's worked so hard to, which I think we already have. Collaboratively, we've been able to obtain this site to serve the purpose of exactly what it was meant to be. So with all props to Karen and Patty and all those that were involved in FAU, you know, I think we really had all of our ducks in line, and we were able to overcome a lot of obstacles, and we're in a good place. And now we just got to fine tune it and move forward. So that's on Sunset Golf Course.
Tracy, Lily has her hand raised.
Me too.
Okay, why?
Me too next, after
Okay,
Lily.
But she has a little yellow thing.
so I just want to, if we can I just go through can we just get through the
Okay, no
PowerPoint,
problem.
and then I'll go back on questions, just so, because some of them might be answered as we move forward. If that's okay.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so you don't lose your train of thought. I got it.
Yeah. I'm on a roll here. This took a lot of work. So I was also asked to provide additional updates for surrounding areas, and Sunset also is involved in it. As Patty mentioned, 28th Avenue, Hollywood Boulevard update. FDOT is redoing that median and extending the eastbound left turn lane. So this is FDOT project, of course, not the city of Hollywood, but this is what they hope, and you see my little fingers crossed and my praying hands, reduce the overflow blocking of eastbound traffic through Hollywood Boulevard and the backups that we're experiencing already. Next slide, please. So as mentioned by Patty, but there's additional questions about Sunset and what's going on. So Public Utilities Department is in the process of stabilizing the bank along the stormwater canal west of Garfield Street. So if you see activity other than storage, now you know that they're just basically reinforcing the canal on the west side, whether it's falling in, overgrown, deteriorating, they're making sure that it's stable. So when you see that work that's going on in the drilling, that's that. Next slide. And another question that was asked was the scaffolding and the lights that are on 95 in North Central overpowering. So FDOT is widening the I-95 bridge on Taft Street. So that's what's currently going on. That's with their master plan. And that's going to tie into the flooding mitigation and the acreage that they need. But they're currently doing the bridge on Taft Street, setting up the pilings and everything. And then they're going to move next to Johnson Street, which still encompasses North Central. So you'll see a lot of busy work going on in that area as well. Next slide. And then I'm sure everyone knows the 26th Avenue south of Johnson Street was replaced, kissy face, thank goodness, the pavement was done. And now we've moved from 26th Street forward. Actually, it should have been to Taft Street. And we move forward, the infrastructure, sorry for the typo, improvements, and we see everything that was going on that Patty mentioned earlier. And then Johnson Street along the south side, I'm sure everyone has seen the implement of the sidewalks that we pushed really hard for and the curbing. And in addition to those sidewalks and that curbing, if anybody's driven by, you'll see there's segments for the flooding aspect to help with the draining of the water. So they've really changed the facade. There's planting that's gone on. And so we are finally seeing the ripened fruit, so to speak, coming to fruition. It's been a long time waiting, but it's happening. So I am so happy that it's finally happening, because every time one of us get up here as a commissioner or mayor and talk about it's coming, it's here. So finally something, we're starting to see our taxpayers' dollar at work, and we got some movement. So that is my presentation. That is all, folks. And now I will open up for any questions that someone may have.
I was just curious what the fill was that the previous owner of Sunset Golf Course filled the golf course with. I mean, he added a couple feet of, I guess, what was it, from Fort Lauderdale's water cleaning facility? Is that arsenic?
No, that's Phil as well, but they still did testing in other areas because they only did like, it seems like it was a lot. They took down a lot of trees. Obviously, that was before we actually owned it.
Right.
But that was Phil that was brought in, but the areas that they're saying that it's pretty much all arsenic in there. So
Okay.
Oh, you,
we'll have to get that mitigated.
Thank you.
I
Yes,
don't know how
Karen.
to put my hand up.
I see you. Go ahead.
I had the same question. I thought that all those truckloads were to cap, to put 2 feet of clean fill on top of the arsenic so that it could be used in a limited way. And now we're finding out that all of that, no,
Well, so what it specifically says in here is 27 acres has been found to have arsenic. Now, how many acres? It's a 45 acre, 45 acres at Sunset. So where did they test that? So basically what they're saying is 27 acres needs to be mitigated with arsenic and fixed. So half of it was maybe capped. Was it done properly? But
it's not, it
Pretty
didn't do the
much.
job. Didn't do the
and
job.
you know what? And I, no matter how stressed we were all when that was going on and how frustrated we were, again, we didn't own it. We know that we were monitoring it. We were calling every person we could think of about where it was coming from and everything. But if they say 27 acres, to me, that means maybe 15 acres were covered with whatever it was. I'm sure we'll find out a little bit more as time goes on, where that's at. It seems strange,
But
but what we have.
it's what we will, okay.
At least we have a plan now. We know what we're doing. We couldn't get in there and do what we have done thus far until we owned it. Now we do. Now we can mitigate it and move forward.
Okay.
Any other questions? Somebody may ask me about the, one question I forgot to leave on the PowerPoint was about the, oh my goodness. The sign that goes over 95. I just lost the name of it. Somebody help me out.
A sign that goes over.
You know, the
Billboard,
big sign,
billboard.
Thank you, billboard. So for many years, if anyone noticed on Johnson Street, right on the east side of 95, a new and high-end industrial type of billboard was placed. I got a call from North Central residents. None of them are on the call that I see, except for Ted lives in that neighborhood, but I did get a call about how, we're tearing apart the neighborhood. And this isn't fair to the residents that live there and so forth and so on. But if everybody can go back years ago, probably 10 years, Lincoln Street near the back end, they built, I believe it's 5 new homes right up against 95. And there was a billboard that was there, a wooden one. They took that billboard down because it would be in the backyard of one of those homeowners. And all they did was relocate it to the property of the tire repair shop that's there. So I learned a lot, and I say it all the time on the up on the stage, and I'm sure Commissioner Anderson can attest. We become so knowledgeable of things that we probably never thought we would know. So I feel like I've become an expert on billboards because the property owner owns all of that. Once we have 15 billboards allowed in the city of Hollywood, 15, no more, no less. And what happened in the back years prior, they would rob Peter to pay Paul. Oh, we'll give you 20, we'll contribute to an organization, we'll do this, we'll do that, let us put a billboard. And we experienced that on Sheridan Street on the west side of 95. So come to find out, I think we changed our charter, we changed our ordinances, and we only have 15. They no longer by law have to donate to any charitable organizations. The money's theirs, but 15 is the max. And once it is on a piece of land, they don't have, it came down 7 years ago. They have 30 years. They can replace it within 30 years. That once they have it forever. So it became a little bit, because it's been gone for 7 years. So we all were like, oh, now we're putting up a new billboard. We're not putting on up a new one. It is replacing the one that was, and they just relocated it and made it more up to code and sturdy. Just so everyone knows, in case they have a question about that as well. And I think that's it.
I have my hand up.
Yes, ma'am. Hi.
Hey, I'm Elise. Thank you
Elise.
for all your work. Two things. One, are you going to send that PowerPoint out? Because I'd love to be able to look at that more closely in terms of all the golf course stuff. Where would the funding come to be able to put up like a community center and all of that kind of stuff? And then is it going to end up like, is the goal for that location to end up kind of like Wakota-Hatchie, where it's a pathway, but maybe adding, kayaking, which you can't do in Wakota-Hatchie because there's alligators there. You definitely don't want to kayak there.
So that's where the community involvement is going to come. I will say, when everyone who knows me, I never have, and I never plan on meeting with a developer before they meet with the community. So this is kind of a different route because it's a city owned piece of property, and we had to do this mitigation. So when they presented the plans, I have to say I was a little uncomfortable because I'm seeing something for the first time that my residents haven't seen. And it was just a rough draft. And it was just ideas to get the commissioner's input to kind of give ideas of what we would expect there or what we thought would be the best for that area. Community center it's off of the way they presented it. And, again, we learned from our mistakes in the past. There was a community center off of Johnson Street. You drive in, there's parking, it's in the center. Water is all around for stormwater drainage, which is the liner and such. So there's a lot of things in there that are not set in stone, and they're just, I think, there for people to have a vision and then add, right? So when they come out to the community, that you're going to see something similar and you're going to say, well, no, we don't want this. We expected, a preserve. It was a preserve, like a walk around, the same as we're doing for Orange Brook. You could walk around the perimeter. I had mentioned to put a tower, like they have.
Like an Ann Kolb, yeah.
Correct. you know, depending on where do you put that? Because of course, people don't want a tower right over their houses. Do you put it closer to 95? Do you put it closer to Johnson? Where do you put it? Is it needed? But so that's where, and that was my input. Commissioner Anderson, I'm sure, had some type of input, just like every other commissioner, because we're all in this to make the city better. But then that's just our ideas. And they're gonna go out to the community and they're gonna get everyone else's input.
So
And
when
then
is
you,
that, when is that community input? How is that, and how is that gonna kind of look?
well, they'll come to probably a charade like we've done in the past. For other things, they'll come to North Central. They'll set up meetings, whether it's gonna be through the week at different times. Have everybody come together, put their ideas. I don't know if anyone participated in the circle at Hollywood Circle at the Joseph Young Arts Park about the directional circle. They went out and did charades at in other areas and got input. So it'll be noticed, the community will know, and I encourage everybody to participate. And give your ideas, your likes, your dislikes. Of course, you know, you love pink and I love green. We gotta find that middle ground, what's gonna be the best for that area. Most importantly, we have it in writing what can and cannot be there. And I think that's gonna be our saving grace. And as long as I'm here, I think that that's been, we've seen where it's tried to been changed, and we fought really hard to keep it the way it is, get it in the bond, and we gotta fight a little bit more to make sure we can get this to fruition. As far as funding, that's gonna be our hard part. $25 million is what they're projecting.
Right.
That's a lot of money. So grants, depending on what we're doing with it, stormwater drainage, FDOT taking 8 acres. If they need more, that they'll have to, you know, pony up some money, hopefully. So there's a lot of ways that we'll be able to hopefully get funding for it, whether it's from federal, state, because it's a natural preserve, because it's stormwater drainage. There's a lot of opportunities out there. It's just getting a hold of them, and mainly it's grants.
And is there a timeline in terms of this? Because if there was a timeline, I didn't catch it.
No, as of right now, we don't have an exact timeline. I'm sure the more we do, I mean, this is a pretty significant timeline of where we were and where we
Right.
are. I
Oh,
think we'll be able to get there. Yeah.
yeah, I
yeah.
mean, like, just fabulous, incredible, wonderful, you know, I mean, I couldn't thank you all enough for all the work that's been done and all the saving grace to not have a paintball, whatever, you know. You know, so all of that kind of stuff. I just, you know, just wondered, you know, I mean, I'm just like looking forward to having, you know, a bird sanctuary in my backyard so I don't have to drive it now.
Yeah. The birds are back.
I know, there's lots of birds. There's lots of birds at the little Charles Park next to, on Tap and 90, and right next to Tap on 95 there.
Where the
So-
new orchids are at, yes. It's really a beautiful thing. So yeah. Any
There's-
other questions?
Yeah, for me, I just want to, is Charles Park in our district?
It's Park East. It's right
Park-
next door. It's right next door. But it's Park
Okay.
East.
Okay, so our district ends at 95, I guess. I don't know the physical location of our,
Pretty much you're on the east
Our
side
civic,
of.
our civic, sorry, Dick, our civic association stops at 95.
Yeah.
Tracy's district goes all the way to 56th Avenue. So it's district as versus association boundaries.
So North Central pretty much is all of from east of 95 to Dixie is North Central, pretty much from Sheridan, a little, maybe, I don't know if it's past
Oh.
Sheridan, but Sheridan to Hollywood Boulevard. So Chuck Bowman is technically, if you wanted to, it's in District 3, but it is considered Park East, as well as Stan Goldman. In your areas, Dowdy Field, Boggs Field, and Lincoln Park, right off of 24th, the little park, that walk thing in there, is your parks, like in North Central, but it's all of our parks, just so everyone knows.
yeah, I just wanted to find out because I go over there daily and I walk in there and I'm
It's
past
beautiful.
Yeah, past year and a half, I've been cleaning the park every day.
Awesome, thank you. Well, I have to say, and that
First thing in
again,
the
even though
morning.
it's Park East, Patty, myself, Karen, Pete, all of us worked really hard with that developer to make sure that that park remained as beautiful as it is. And it was probably the most cohesive development partnership in history.
Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah.
one other thing I just want to point out is I live at 25th and Wilson. I'm just, the end of my block is 26. Okay, and I'm in the midst of just getting started with this construction work going on around us. And I just rode my bike down 26 just to verify where the work was and what they're doing. And I've discovered that traffic is not detouring because the sign, they're just driving around the sign and driving all the way down to Sheridan and turning that Sheridan. So that's this northbound traffic. So you need to really probably block off the northbound up there completely across so traffic doesn't try to pass through, and because they're not, the traffic is not behaving correctly.
I was there today and it was blocked off completely.
Well, I'm talking about,
Trying to go to Home
this
Depot.
was after hours. I'm sure when
Right.
they're working,
Well,
they've got vehicles out there that are blocking the possibility, you know?
once there's a big hole in there, someone will learn their lesson the hard way.
This was around 5:30 when I did that bike ride. I just rode all the way down to Sheridan and turned around and came back. And the traffic is, cars are just going around it and driving down and all that. So I'm just letting you realize that it's not blocked off completely.
So maybe we can
I'm
get some, the police signage out there, you know, the trailer that, I mean, even with that, unfortunately, no one pays attention, but we'll try. I will make sure that the police knows, okay?
Yeah, but I'm just pointing out, probably if you go to Sheridan and just block that off completely there, it will stop people from driving north all the way to Sheridan because they're gonna figure out they can't get through there, so.
When we went by last night, David, it was blocked. We couldn't get out of my neighborhood. I think,
Okay.
I think maybe Tracy, we get Mancini to do a little sketch again with, Rick Meininger. He had a little sketch thing that he showed where each one was. It was really hard to read when I got it in an email, so maybe get, our traffic guy to,
Jump on it, okay.
yeah, because I got it in an email and I could barely read it because they had when it was and how it was, so.
Dave, would you mind sending an email over to Commissioner Anderson and myself, just with your concern, and then we could forward it to the proper individuals, okay?
Okay,
Awesome. Do you have our email address?
no,
Can I give it to you? I'll text it to you, or,
but just go ahead and send it to me and you have my email on the
I'm
system.
gonna send it in the chat right now. I think I can chat with you. I'm gonna put it in there and I'll put Commissioner Anderson's as well.
Okay. That I can write it down. If she does that, I'll write it down. Yeah.
Because I don't know all this online stuff anymore.
I know. Okay, anyone else?
Well, I'm
Any
real
other-
happy to see Elise and David here because Elise was asking for Zoom.
and then she disappeared.
Elise is there.
Okay,
Yeah, there's Tracy's and Miss Anderson's email.
awesome. All right, well, hopefully I answered everything. I don't know if Commissioner Anderson wants to chime in and add any input to what was just discussed, or if she has something new to provide us with.
I think you covered everything.
How you
Oh, no,
feeling, Commissioner Anderson?
Commissioner Anderson, you're doing something we've all wanted so badly. You got the tickets on the tractor trailers on 21st and Dixie Highway.
Yeah. It was hard, but
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
So yes, you have been working very hard for us.
yes,
We
yeah.
appreciate
We
that
were-
because
Years,
that,
years and
I mean,
years.
we got it bad enough with the Protanos junkyards everywhere. The least we could do is get rid of the tractor trailers mooching off our property.
Well, we're working on that in Taft Street. And you know, when they dug up, they found a boat. A
Where?
boat buried down there next to the track.
Oh my
Wow.
God.
Oh my God, Barry, oh my God, that's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
yeah.
Okay,
So we want to just keep it clean, so it can look
Keep it clean.
nice. Yes.
That's it. Hard at work.
So David,
Yes.
be sure to look up and the trees at Bowman Park and look at the orchids that Claire has planted in the trees.
I
Over
just put them
call.
up on Monday, just put them up on Monday. There, you gotta look way up though. They're
Yeah.
Florida native. And they're, it's a perfect place for them.
They're
Perfect.
in the vicinity of the Butler Coral Rock House, in the vicinity of that little parking area near the Coral Rock House.
And just so everyone knows about the Coral Rock House, even though it's not in North Central, Claire, again, Patty, Karen, Pam Bergeron, everyone has been involved. You know, that was a historical site. Unfortunately, it didn't get maintained well, but they've come up with a new concept to be able to preserve the fireplace aspect. It looks very nice. I think we all agree that it's something better than nothing, and a plaque will be there, and it will be utilized with a pavilion type coverage for gatherings if need be and such. So, you know, they've also, you know, even though it's not in North Central, remember, we're all in the city of Hollywood and we have a lot of different things that we're involved in. And so but these ladies have worked really, really hard also to preserve that to the best of our ability. And now we're out for grants to get that as well.
So is that going to be coming down like in a soon kind of a thing, or is it just kind of status quo until there's money to do something?
No, I think the demolition will be sooner than later, just for safety purposes. And then the part that's going to be preserved obviously has to be secured. So it's a process. It won't be tomorrow or next week, but hopefully sooner than later. We'll keep everyone up to date as to the progress of it. But we at least have plans and we know where we have to go. Now it's, again, funding is the issue. But there's grants.
Drawing is lovely. The drawing is lovely. I love what they did. They're
Yeah.
keeping the whole west side, which is the fireplace side. And then there'll be a pavilion across where the building is now. It'll be just a roof and a pavilion and a concrete slab where you can put benches and whatever, but it's really, really nicely done.
Yeah,
We wrote letters, the civic associations wrote letters in support of the city's endeavor to get a matching grant for that. And not a lot of money, but we're not spending a lot of money either. I think the majority of the cost is going to be in tearing it down.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm just concerned about like in the process of tearing it down, just like, you know, keeping the cats safe.
They will be.
Oh, they're
Pam
gonna have that
Bergio,
taken care of. Yeah.
He's wonderful.
Pam Bergio, whose father
okay, Pam.
is the name of on the park. That was her first concern. It's been her first concern right along. No matter what happens there, these cats are not going to be dispersed or abused. So I'm delighted with that part too. I love watching those cats. Love that man. They love that man.
Dan, Don, he is so wonderful. We walk every morning from 7:30 to 8:30, and that's when he comes to feed the cats. And if you haven't come in the morning and seen his relationship with the cats, you are missing out.
It's
Yeah.
not only feeding, it's the brushing.
Oh, he brushes them, he
He
cares
does
for
that
them, he does
later. He
everything.
brushes later. He comes back a couple hours later and brushes.
They are
They
so,
run to him.
they
They run
love
to
it.
him.
Karen, do you remember how much was the total estimate and we're going out for the grant was on that? I think 35.
Which Karen?
Karen Caputo
I don't
for the
remember.
the
I don't
demolition and
I do know it was about $250,000.
Yeah.
It's about, yeah, it was
I
between
think like
two.
350 or 495,000, right?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, which to give us everything we wanted, we can't possibly have it. We just can't have it. The money's not there, won't be there.
What?
And put up a pavilion where the house is.
Well, I think whatever it comes out to be, the park itself is beautiful. The community's embraced it, Claire and everyone that went out. This is community, right? This is what we love. And it's a huge asset to our city. So whatever we do, I think it'll be great. When I went to North Carolina, I learned about fireplaces, my little witchy ways, but you never knock down a fireplace. And I asked, because I saw a fireplace standing in a vineyard. And I go, what happened? Oh, there was a house, but you never knocked down the fireplace. Why is that? Because you let the spirits go if you knock down a fireplace.
Okay, I'm good
We
with
don't want
that.
any spirits in that park.
Oh, maybe Alex knew that from it's in the city.
Maybe. Anyways.
I
so
like
there's-
that.
Yep.
Me too.
So we're having our procedure, we're gonna have our workshop on the 30th, if anyone's interested, to go over our procedures and protocols at the city commission level. So that way, we need to kind of talk about things, how it's being done, and maybe come up with the ways that it would be better for everyone. So if anybody's interested, tune in to that workshop Thursday. I think it's from 1 to 3 or 3 to 5. It'll be in a month.
3 to
3 to
5.
5. 3 to 5 things.
Is it Thursday? It's the 30th, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
right there.
that'll be interesting, and we'll be able to update you guys if anything changes on that.
Okay,
Okay?
yes, ma'am.
I thank you very much, Tracy and Miss Anderson, for being here.
Linda, you always call me Linda. Why you going, Miss Anderson?
Linda, love you, Linda, and you're the tractor trailer queen now.
Well, they parking in my neighborhood now, so.
Yeah, they're gonna go somewhere.
I saw them over there at Oakwood. They were parking over there too for a while.
Oh,
They
and
looked
then
like they were gone and now they're back again.
no.
I just want everybody else to know, I posted something on my Facebook page. The commission supported this, and so there's another park, Dave and Elise, Dan Goldman Park, which is just on the other corner, kind of bookends. Just so everyone knows, there's gonna be 2 more pickleball courts going in, and they're gonna be revamping the skate park once they generate money as well. So there's a lot of positive things for our community going on, just so everyone knows.
For a walk over on that side one morning. We should go for a walk on the other side one morning.
And they're gonna be doing the walkways. There's money in there. I think it's 600,000 of park funding that will be utilized to redo the perimeter of that park with lighting and wider, more safer walkway. So that'll help with the park as well.
That's between the dog park and Hollywood Boulevard.
Yes, ma'am. And then the last thing, Patty and I talked about it today, just one more thing. What sidewalks are always underwater? Where, what location?
Rory,
Just need a location.
Rory, turn on your mic, Rory.
Stan Goldman, okay.
she wrote
Sidewalks
it.
and Stan Goldman are always underwater. I'm at work. Okay, Rory. Yeah, they're gonna be redoing them and fixing them. So that's the good thing there. I think it's supposed to start this summer. So That whole walkway will be revamped, elevated and corrected, so. And they're gonna be looking at the, along the canal as well. The root system and the mangroves are not gonna be touching them, but they're gonna try to improve and rebuild that seawall in that area as well, so. We'll have a lot of positive happening. Okay, that's all I got.
Anyone
guys.
else? Alrighty then, how do we do with our first Zoom meeting, folks?
It was very pleasant. I was worried about it being impersonal, but I don't think it was impersonal. I think it was just fine.
I'm not sure who Janet is, or Blanche, or Teresa, and I don't see the phone number.
They're saying
I-
great
I-
job.
She's a good friend of ours and she walks our dogs.
Who's that, Janet?
Walks our cat. I mean, takes care of our cat.
She
This
lives
is
near you?
Blanche. I'm Karen's neighbor.
Oh, okay.
Not
Garfield
Blanche, Blanche is 2 houses from me.
But
One house.
she's on
from
the
me.
other side, right?
Right,
She's on the other side of Sunset House.
Yeah.
correct.
Yes. She lets me know when Rosie leaves the sprinkler on all night.
There
Claire
you go.
wants to
That's what
say
neighbors are
something.
for.
Claire's raising her hand to say something.
Yeah, I just wanted to remind everyone that Tracy's campaign kickoff is tomorrow evening.
Mm,
Claire, we don't do that at North Central. We don't do
No.
campaign.
No politics.
Nope.
Can't. We'd love to, but we are stifled by our not-for-profit status. So is Friends of Hollywood. This
But
is
you
why
can
you
go
don't-
to you can go to her Facebook page.
All right, everyone, I'm gonna sign off. Thank you so much. It's great to see everyone. Hopefully we'll get through this COVID nonsense. It's almost, I think,
God.
coming to an end. Get your vaccines if you want, wear your mask. And I have to say, washing your hands. I don't have a voice because I was at a girls' weekend. And so I was hooting and hollering, having a good time. I went off the grid and had a great time. But I do have to say that, it's proven, it's fact. Whether you get the vaccine or you don't, that's okay. But just wash your hands. If you're sick, stay home. Whatever, floats your boat, but just be safe and be smart. That's all I can say. And hopefully we're at
Teresa.
the end of this.
Hope
Thank
so.
you, Tracy.
All right, bye, guys. Take care, everyone. Love you.
Hi.
Thanks, Tracy.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, we're done here.
I think we're done.
Yeah,
Are we-
Patty,
Any idea, are we
Yes,
doing
Karen?
this again next month, or?
that was my question. Are we gonna be on Zoom again for a while?
Well, we don't meet in August, so let's say July, yes. And hopefully September we can get back in person.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Is the center closed or are you just doing this?
No,
to-
we never have meetings in August and December.
Right, I know that, I know, but
No, the center is not closed, but the numbers, when the numbers spike, we err on the side of caution. We
makes
have
sense.
to. We
Yeah.
have to.
Yeah, yeah, I saw a bus over there, yesterday, actually. Or today, there was a bus there, they were taking a little trip or something, so I thought it was open. But,
Oh, yeah, it's open.
okay.
We still have our night reserved. We just felt
No, it
that
makes
it right
sense.
now is not good. No.
No, absolutely makes sense. Okay, bye, folks.
So
Ciao.
the next Zoom will be, let's see.
Fourth
20
Tuesday.
26th
26th of
July.
July, okay.
And I
And
want to wish everyone a safe and very safe and careful out there on the 4th of July weekend. And don't forget the Sheridan Street Bridge is closed.
Yeah. I'll stay home. It's much safer. All right, good night, everybody.